Sister Islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village. Convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays.
See what I'm saying?
See what I'm saying?
See what I'm saying? You don't want to miss this unique, informative audience participation, light-hearted show with lots and lots of Cayman jokes, culture, and guests. As we talk about things we say and do, it happening every third Friday on Talk Today.
See what I'm saying is a special feature of Talk Today, jointly produced by the National Museum and Radio Cayman. A language, history, and culture show. Remember, it's every third Friday on 89.9 and 93.9 FM. See what I'm saying? Begins right now.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome, and thank you so much. As we get into our month of See What I'm Saying, I'm always grateful to in most circles it would be appropriate to say the Right Honourable Wray. And maybe one day, as we had one of the visiting dignitaries in relation to an initiative under the auspices of the Ministry of Culture relative to the hospitality sector, Mr. Walter made no bones about, one day the MBE being converted to perhaps a knighthood. Well, Ray, maybe for your contribution, Sir Ray, if we can have,
this is too early.
No, think about it, right? Our good friend Graham Rankin, Lord Graham Rankin, it should be Sir Ray Banker. What do you think?
Oh my God!
I say that not to poke fun at you. You know my love and admiration for you.
I'm thinking of poor Graham too.
Well, I'm thinking about it. The rest of the country. But I say that to share that as we assemble today and we look at the Commonwealth in particular, showing their great deference, love, admiration for Her Majesty. We are perhaps twofold. As we celebrate that, we also celebrate the life of Honourable Sybil McLaughlin.
Yes,
as she's laid to rest, and the female parliamentarians have always shared how Miss Sybil, in her instruction and guidance to the wider community, served as an example, not unlike Her Majesty. Making sure now different protocols with respect to access, but making sure that people are cognizant of the need of deportment and the like. So as we take this opportunity now to look into the Platinum Jubilee.
Yes, the topic is the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. Right.
Yeah. As we get into it, I'm interested in your continued research as you discover things that either you confirmed, or you didn't know, or you find out, well, we always thought this.
Well, we always tried on the show, try to have a different angle on some of the things. So I guess continue with that, with the Queen.
Why
the Queen.
Why not? Why not? And we probably have, in times past, whether the stand-up comedian or whether even some was had a perspective on certain things, right? Yeah. So who knows? But
we have to say too, we have a shortened show today too.
Yes. So not just because of the host.
That's the sort of jokes that I would make about you.
I know, but I beat you to the punch.
I'm slow today.
That's why I take advantage of it. But I think, my good friend, she'll say, oh, he's masking again. Yes, perhaps he is, but, if one can, have a little bit of a jovial approach, then perhaps life is not to be as enjoyed. So, talk to me. QE2?
So, yes. So the topic is the Platinum Jubilee for the Queen Elizabeth II. So 70 years reign. She's the longest serving monarch, and she's now 96.
Wow.
Yeah. So Miss Sybil was 93.
Mm-hmm.
But can we start last topic we had, if you missed it, was the catboat.
Mm-hmm.
And just we normally try to tie in one show with the other.
Mm.
And since then we had I did a little research, and I remember bringing up that we've only got about
3, if that much, a handful.
Yeah, of actual catboats, and we talked about one in the UK that was missing, and so since then, I did a little research on it, and I might have a line on that, a line of contact on it. We might have found it. Yeah.
No, it
doesn't sound like a big deal to everybody. Oh, you found a boat.
Yeah.
But to the catboat people and the people for that know that that realize now the history of the catboat and how rare it is now.
Yeah.
Like what did Jerry say? Some of the catboats are about 60 years old or something.
70, 80, 100 years. I mean, the one he has, right? And if we look at species of plant or animal and they go extinct, the catboat is still very much, I guess would be classified on that threatened, endangered species.
The Cayman one, yeah,
right?
definitely.
And not just those in existence, but A, the people who can build it, B, getting the materials to do so, right?
Basically everything about it.
Yeah. And like the gold field, like the Western Union, maybe this catboat isn't just a catboat. This is significant. I say this carefully, and I know that the people who've said it publicly and privately have also stressed that they're trying to be respectful. But we know that in our comings and goings, there are two catboats that are used as decoration, so to speak, in prominent places. And for some,
since our last show?
Well, no, but they've been there for there for a while, right? And for some people, they see that, and it causes them a bit of uneasiness in their spirit because it's good to see it, but here is this thing.
We've got one in the museum,
right? So. Right, and so there is that thing as to where do you put it, and how do you display it, and is it better to have it there for preservation or have it in the water, right? And this one that you got a line on it,
Yeah, and since my wealth of knowledge now has been on the catboat has been upgraded since our last time, it looks like a West Bay catboat.
Very much so. Yeah. I like the picture you sent me.
Yeah. And it was donated, I think, by the government in the 1950s, is what it was saying. So that is over what? That's over 70 years old?
Well,
is that what that is?
72-ish or 70-ish.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Jubilee in a sense, right?
Yeah. Yep. So we want to get back to that.
Yeah. But as you do, right, I think it made me reflect on so much that we have taken, not just for granted, but perhaps as we do with ourselves, as we do with each other, or we continue to do with our culture.
Yes, for sure.
For whatever better, with our artifacts. We either A, don't value, or when we do, undervalue.
Yeah, and I think also it's the education. I think once you start the dialogue, I think you'll find that it's not true that people don't really like or not interested in our culture. Yeah. I think it's the access to it, and it's the momentum or something. For lack of a better word.
There needs to be an impetus, and then there needs to be a continue. I'll give us an example, right, as we get into it. And then for some, I may be able to tie it in later on, right? Or when I say to someone, whether in a house or in a restaurant, do you have any pepper sauce? As a Caymanian, immediately they know I'm looking for, vinegar, peppers, onion in a glass jar. Yeah. Right? And they bring that. It's not known by Caymanians as other thing as a pepper sauce. Others will have a different take, right? And I was so grateful to a good friend Nobi and then the young lady earlier who, when I said, do you have any pepper sauce? She knew exactly. And we had a quick little banter about it. And that was so refreshing because without having to explain. Now, what I also have found, back to the idea of the catboat, the culture and the appreciation and everything, is that I've gone to a few places and I've said, you got any pepper sauce, right? And they'll bring me all sorts of things. And then I would, thankfully, in some cases, some may feel a little bit, slighted, but...
Which one do they send you?
No, pick a pepper. They send me all kinds of things, right? And I say, no, I want pepper sauce.
There's that Chinese one that's kind of famous, too.
It's great. But if in your space, whether it's your society or your house, if people don't, A, understand what is it you're trying to convey, and B, you don't make an effort to educate them of the importance, they can bring you anything, right? Yeah. My good friend talks about Corelli. Right? I know. Yeah, exactly. I'll find out what it is later. Maybe I'll get a message to get clarification, right? But there's so much things. Right?
Corelli, what is? Are you gonna leave me like that?
Let's ask somebody else, right? And the idea is that if you don't teach and you don't know, right? So with the Queen's,
you had to teach me about that, Corelli.
With the Queen's Platinum Jubilee.
Yes.
I wanted the two words go hand in hand, platinum and Jubilee, but again, that's a different story.
Well, so anyway, so it's platinum. I don't know the different things with platinum and what she had last time, the diamond.
Well,
The last one we celebrated was diamond.
Oh, I thought...
Because we actually did a show on that, an exhibition on that. That was 2012, though. So it's every year something different, apparently. So, it's the 2nd of June, 1953 is what we're looking at as the coronation. So we're celebrating when she was crowned. And funny enough, there's she rarely does interviews, but she did an interview recently, but sort of behind the scenes of her coronation. And some of the things you don't think about is, I think her wedding, I think, was the first thing televised. There was a big thing about that being televised, whether they should do it because it might lose some of the mystique and things like that of these type of events, these royal events. And she talked about on the interview some things you don't think about. And there's that saying, how heavy? What heavy is the head that wears the crown?
He that hangs the crown, huh?
Yeah. So she was saying it's apparently like over 8 pounds, heavier than 8 pounds or something. So you don't think about it. She was saying she was so nervous, and I was looking at if you look at the documentary or the video of her coronation. She does look a little concerned. She has a concerned look on her face. She was scared that she would tip the crown over and things like that. So that was some of the things she kind of talked about during that show. And also the coach that she used, I forget which king it was, but it was during the 1700s that this golden gilded coach that she rode in, and how uncomfortable it was. I guess it didn't have no shocks and things them days. But
no suspension, huh?
Yeah. So it's, I wouldn't say that she's suffering, but but these are some of the things that like you look at when you get the behind the scenes or the first hand knowledge things. But that's something you can look at, the Queen's interview on behind the scenes the thing. I wished I could have got it, that I could got all of it, but it's a pay as you go type or by subscription thing. But some of the things that are interesting that I found during the research was she actually wasn't. The family wasn't supposed to be they were second in line for the crown. So they were thinking they were just going to be like the Queen's family, and her father were thinking they were just going to be these what they call lesser royals. Like there would be royals, but their uncle was the one. Their uncle, what was it? Edward. Which one is it? What was he? Edward the eighth.
Eighth, I think.
Is it eighth?
Yeah.
He was supposed to.
That's his older brother.
Yes.
Yeah.
Her father's older brother. What was his name? I can't remember his name. But he was in line, so they thought they would go through life just as these lesser royals and something. But in what date was that? I think in the 30s. It was during it was 36. His brother abdicated. King Edward the Eighth abdicated the throne. Because, and now it's so different now, because he wanted to marry, it was a big controversy, American divorcee Wallace Simpson. So he had to abdicate to marry her. And there was all kind of controversies behind him too. He was very much linked. He actually met Hitler. So he was, this is the uncle now that abdicated. He met Hitler, and there was even worried that he was actually a Nazi, or at least a Nazi sympathizer, along with the Miss Wallace. And so get back now. So after he abdicated, her father, and it's Bertie was what they would call him. He was named as King George the Sixth. They always give him a different name once they become king or become royal, in line. They all changed their name. Even even Her Majesty has a like a pet name too. So on the 6th of February 1952, after a long illness, Queen Elizabeth's father died. I think it might have been lung cancer. He was a smoker, as most of those were back then, and he was the king of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Dies in his sleep in Sandringham. How was that pronounced? Sandringham. Anyway. Princess Elizabeth at the time was the oldest of the king's two daughters, so she was next in line to succeed him. And there was a big falling out with that family and the uncle that was abdicated, because they felt that they put him in this position. They were very concerned about her father, the king, at the time, because remember, he had a speech impediment, and if you ever listen to some of the BBC broadcasts and stuff, his speeches, they were very long and halting type of talks. And if you've seen the movie, there's a whole movie written about it. I think it's called
Ralph Fiennes' King's Speech.
Yeah, the King's Speech. So he was stuttering. He was nervous in crowds and stuff, and probably like diagnosed as an anxiety problem at the now.
Probably genetic, but
yeah. Well, they're very close genetic, those families. But they just besides the whole thing. Abdicating and the whole Nazi connection and stuff. Apparently, there was a falling out with the family because they blamed the uncle on the acceleration of this guy's illness because he was so stressed. This was during the war and everything like that. And again, he wasn't a person that liked crowds and things like that, and he had to do so much speaking, and he was so nervous and things like that with his speech. They blamed the uncle on accelerating the father's death.
All right.
So he finally, February the 2nd, I think it was,
2nd of June.
February 6th of February 1952 was when he actually died, and the Queen was away. Or the princess was away at the time. My father says, yeah, he remembers it. I think she was in Africa in a tree. And apparently she was either vacationing or whether it was an official visit. She was vacationing or she was visiting in a tree house in Kenya. So I just thought it was funny. Yeah, she was in Africa up in a tree. but it's true.
Yeah. All right. So let's go to the break. And this is part of, as you presented the research data, and because this happens in our lifetime, right? Our parents and their parents, and so there are those stories, right? And then there's some, sanitized history, and there's other stuff, right? So maybe we'll chat about that.
Yes.
Always impressed with Ray's approach. Please rejoin us after the break.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Ask our professional team about the benefits of cutting-edge technology with MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
I've got some beautiful clothes. I know just where they go. Puritan Cleaners.
Puritan Cleaners, now using the most popular and eco-friendly cleaning solvents. 2 convenient locations to serve you: Savannah Countryside and Eastern Avenue, Georgetown. Drive-through, rain or shine, free pickup and delivery services available. Call Puritan Cleaners, 949-7104. Also ask about our in-house discounts. Puritan Cleaners, you feel good when you look good. Subway is serving up a special new sauce, bursting with flavor in every bite. The new Savory Collection is a tropical sweet and spicy sauce made with a combination of spices: habanero peppers, thyme, onion, black pepper, ginger, citrus juices, and molasses.
So good.
Wow.
Sensational.
Delicious.
Subway's Savory Collection pairs perfectly with our oven roasted chicken or steak sub. Savor the flavor. For a limited time, only at Subway. Subway. Eat fresh.
If you care about your car's performance and fuel economy, you must fill up at Jose's Escape with the new Pure 93. Experts know that the higher the octane rating, the better your engine will perform. Pure 93 is the highest octane fuel available in Cayman. Protect your car against pre-ignition and engine knocks. Top up your tank now with Pure 93 at Jose's Rubis and enter to win an awesome track bike. But there's more. Jose's offers 2 lateral flow test kits for only $10. The best KN95 masks, 2 for $5, and 10 stylish black surgical masks are only $5. Share the love. Purchase Reflections gift certificates and enter to win the amazing Trek bike.
Siwa Sayin is a special feature of Talk Today with contributions from the National Museum, a language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM. Siwa Sayin.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back.
Contributions.
Well, as I always have said to you privately and tried to imply publicly, we know the impetus for the show, the discussion that was, that we had for extended periods over time. You can tell people if you want. But if it wasn't for you, right, and I say this and I hope everybody understands, your not just your concerted, your consistent effort, not just the access to the wonderful people at archives. Partner would allow you, but not me. Anyway, they're smart. And
they've gotten used to me.
Yeah, to come there. But your research beyond that, and your, shared passion for this.
Well, like
country,
I said, it's.
This is you, Ray.
I mean, once you get it, anything Caymanian, I get into, and that's the thing about the Cayman topic.
Yeah.
You find so much of it.
Caymanian, but you're right.
Long time, what?
I haven't been into Caymanian, but you're right. But you need to be, we need to get into that more, man. It's seriously, man. And you find a topic.
But there's
like
so much, and like I said, I don't agree with the thing saying people don't care about, or Caymanians don't care about their culture and their history. Yeah. I always find that once you present them with something that you found, which I consider treasure, they're willing to expand and absorb it.
But this is why I referenced the issue with the pepper sauce, right? That and they're
trying to figure out how you link that to the Queen's Jubilee.
Well, I'm just about to do that for you. Thank you for asking.
Booyaka.
Right, mess with me, Bobo. If people, like you said, once you find and once you share, you realize interest, right? And there's a lot that we believe other people know, and we take it for granted.
I'd much rather tell somebody something about 2 or 3 times than think that they know it and not,
Yeah. So you take pepper sauce.
Pepper sauce.
There's no question if I ask you or anyone like me,
Well, I don't do pepper.
I know. I got some for you though, but and unfortunately, those of us who like food or who like flavors and seasoning and different things.
But I found out that Cayman's flavor profile is supposed to be definitely sweet and hot. Don't expand on that. Don't expand on that.
Well,
don't expand on that. I could see the eyes lit up for that opportunity, and you were like, don't. Okay. But it's sweet and spicy is what? Spicy or hot? What's the difference between spicy and hot?
You see, you ask me.
Oh, Jesus.
So for those who are listening, let me regain my train of thought.
Today, colour never feel. But actually, we're talking about the Queen's Jubilee. Yeah. So if you were around and in an age where you can remember, what we've got some things of what we did in 1952. But I wonder if 53 rather, what sort of things, if you were part of them, these celebrations in 53.
And Her Majesty in particular.
How old would they have to be now? Say somebody's 10 in 53. They was born in 40.
So that would be what?
What age?
Come on,
good. Besides good age, they'd be in the 70s.
52, and then add
they'd be
17.
In the 70s.
52 and 17.
Or the 80s.
Okay, it's 52 plus 17. Okay.
I could say what my father said. Hoish. Try so hoish.
All right, for those who are listening, we want you to. It's very much like those who may have been around when you had the U.S. blockade in Cuba, right? When the Cuba Missile Crisis or the Bay of Pigs.
No, Cuba Missile Crisis
it was after. No, I'm saying it's like that.
Yeah.
When people.
Well, I get the time period.
Right.
I just haven't done the math.
Right. And it's like when people will remember when they landed on the moon, or they remember the assassination of Kennedy, or the events,
that's
right?
Age.
Right. So there are people who were around then, and the limited public discussion on Her Majesty may lead some to believe that in the Cayman context, among Caymanians, not other nationals from other Caribbean jurisdictions or other countries, there is still a very strong love, admiration, affinity for Her Majesty.
And she's publicly, I think she's publicly said that too. Like, I don't know whether it was the last visit. She's visited her twice. Whether it was the last visit, she was saying it was such a big difference between like here and Jamaica. She's still Commonwealth in Jamaica, right? Yeah, I think so.
And even her recent visit there and to Barbados and even with Barbados is...
Well, I think she went to Jamaica before, and she was saying, I don't know, they didn't throw rocks at her car or anything, but they were saying that the reception wasn't as welcome as in Cayman.
Right. So the pepper sauce, sort of analogy, right? As we have...
Yeah, let me hear
how it is. Okay.
Yeah, I forgot you were supposed to link them up.
There you go. So you have Her Majesty,
the
individual,
and pepper sauce,
right? Okay. Not to be hot and spicy, right? So when she comes, she's revered and received in a way. Her offspring, not so much so, right? And then with the Cayman context, with the changing of the people, so I ask for pepper sauce, I know what I'm expecting her to get. And when she comes, she has that same level of respect, and people acknowledge it. But with the growing population and the growing different nationalities, as we look at what is the flavor, what is the pepper sauce, it may change. And same as the Caymanians would see her, the growing population will see her offspring with not the same level of appreciation.
So weird.
Wait, Miss Susan? We got a caller?
What the?
Good afternoon.
Please call in and say that you were in my corner with that. Like, how are you going to
welcome. Good afternoon.
Jubilee.
Thank you for calling.
Oh, my God.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, gentlemen. Always good to hear you on there.
How are you, sir?
You wrote of a lot of things, which is good. I'm fine, thank you. I was just saying that I remember both those dates when the king passed away. We were living over in Jamaica then, and I remember my father building a very large boat for family there. Started out with a big fishing business for them at the time, and that family had a truck, and they took us to see Her Majesty came to Jamaica shortly after her coronation in 1953, very shortly after. And Jamaica was then considered the most important colony, I guess, possibly in the world at the time, because India had gone on.
Oh, India had
But
gone
anyway, they used to make a lot of money out of Jamaica. That's for another day. But
yes,
I remember very well seeing her passing by with His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh, and I can remember it very well. It's nearly 70 years now. 1953 June. It was towards the end of June, I believe, and they came there because her coronation, I think, was on the 3rd or the 2nd of June. I don't remember.
The 2nd.
Exactly. Right, we're not too far off. But I remember watching my brother stand march by. He was a cadet with the Excelsior School. He was just about to leave school, proudly marching with the Enfield 202s on their shoulders, passing, marching by. And in a couple of years' time, he'd leave and go to National Bulk, of course. But I remember, and also the day when His Majesty King George VI died. And I could read quite well, and I remember seeing it in big letters, and the king is dead, huge letters. I don't know if anyone can raise up those newspapers from the Gleaner. It probably might be valuable now if anyone had them. I know one of my sisters had it for quite a while. My mother did, but that's a long time ago. Her Majesty was actually in that Tree House Hotel in Kenya. It was a hotel, a famous hotel, Tree House Hotel in Kenya. I don't know if it still exists. So many things have happened in those countries over the years, wars and different things. But that's where it was actually a belated honeymoon, if you want to put it that way. But that was actually the reason for it, because they never were able to have.
Yes, that's what I thought too.
At the time when they were married, the Duke was still he was still a commissioned officer in the Navy, I believe. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he still was, because he was commander on a British. She was a corvette, really. Corvair, I think, call them, or a corvette. A smaller thing to a frigate. But he was, the Magpie was her name. But that's one of the reasons also on that. And the war had just ended, and then they decided to go there. And they had to visit Kenya anyhow. And that was one of the reasons for it. You're talking at first quick, and I just mentioned this about the cat boats and things. It's so important, and as you quite rightly said, people are interested in the culture. They're afraid to talk about it because many of the younger people, let's be factual, not really interested in it. I listen and talk young people many times from the schools, and their focus isn't on that at all. And we cannot showcase Caymanian culture at the same time we're showcasing 140 different cultures or some kind of a thing. Can't happen. But with the Goldfield case, a sad thing. My father's one of her registered the shipwrights on her, and I just thought if Mr. Jairus Miller, he would have been old enough, and Mr. Cameron had handled that, I think it would have been a much better outcome than seeing her lying a dismal wreck in the south. Now, I just thought that might have been the way to have gone. The people who were handling it. Anyway, that's it, my little contribution for now. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for holding.
Thank you,
sir. Okay, thanks very much.
You too, sir. And this is where, as the caller reminds us, that this either transpired in our lifetime or our parents, and they could tell us stories as he is reminded us. I mean, your father's comment about up in the tree house. That's his recollection, you know.
Yeah, and I had somebody we called a message saying about it was I think it was her sort of belated honeymoon. Yeah. That's what I thought. I didn't verify it at the time.
As Mr. Mickey also reminded us as well, that was his understanding as well.
Yeah.
And this is where the anecdotal comes in with the historical, right? Or the recorded, perhaps I should say.
Yeah.
Now, you were sharing with us, and honestly, there is a great respect, I think, across the Commonwealth and the global, but in Cayman, amongst the older Caymanians, particularly as to how they see Her Majesty. Now, whether that's the same affinity that they'll have for the children and the grandchildren and the whole lineage. Well, again, that's a different thing.
I don't think, I just had a visitor in the museum was asking us about that, and I said, I don't think the younger generation has the same affection, I would say, or think for the Queen or the royals.
Right. And I was curious. I mean, as we go through, you give us the historical record and the like. As I do, take your information, do other stuff. And I was speaking to someone.
My contribution.
Your contribution is invaluable. Without you, I'm serious. We took a discussion and we over time made it a production that I think now is instructive. But this lady was sharing that perhaps because of social media and the era in which we find ourselves, but the fellow that's married to the American girl, they're going off now and think I don't follow him, right? I really don't. But
and apparently that's going to cause a big. They're worried about that because they cannot not invite him and
right,
and that between that couple and her son who had a little trouble recently.
But this is what this lady was sharing, that if you think back to history, here's the king's brother marrying the American actress and creates
I think socialite
something. Yeah, I mean, just a person, right?
Yeah, Wallace.
And he followed his heart, or maybe he was persuaded. It really doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
But here's the consequence. And now, fast forward, 1,000 years later, will it be something similar? Yeah. Potentially, right?
Well, as one of the these documentary people or people who interview them, who has them as their sort of lifelong topic, say they are still regular people, and I'll get back to that. I want to get to another point.
Yeah, go ahead.
Should I go to that?
No, you continue with your thing. And
that they are regular people, and they're subject to things that regular people, it's a regular family thing. I mean, they're in the spotlight, and they have handlers, and they have so things don't get out. Or didn't used to get out. Like even if further back you go to their father, her father Bertie's. So what would that be? Her I guess her Queen Elizabeth's grandfather. He was a womanizer. I don't think he ever married officially, but he had different wives. He was. As we would say, he was fooling with a married woman. That was pretty much open knowledge. He was a big playboy, would drink all the time. I think he basically drank himself to death. So things like that. Like average people. Well, average human experiences.
And I think this is what perhaps set her apart from what I can understand from many, and why she's such.
Yeah, I think she's a kind of down to earth person. She kind of got like a what do you call it? This is Queen Elizabeth II, Her Majesty.
Also, there's a humility, and there's a grace, and there's a level of, again, just from my reading, but also from what people who've met her, people.
Yeah, that's what I get too.
And she is not just humility, but an absolute respect for her post, her position.
Yeah, and I think she realized, when she was put in that position, or when that family was, that line of family was put in that position, she realized it was a duty.
Yeah.
It was like, it's a job. This is what I have to do. This is what I expected. And she's really, I forget how many, she's been in power since Churchill.
Yeah.
So if you can think about that, she was counseled by Churchill. I think Churchill was, if not the first, maybe the second prime minister when she took power. When she came into reign. So she's been a consistent sort of solid. What's the word? She's been.
But she had a level of continuity, right?
Yeah.
And she provided that stability.
Stability.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Friday. Brain.
No, that's fine. And this is where I hope I don't say this improperly to anybody, but my respect and admiration for her is for her, the person who's brought respect and restored respect to an office, a position. And
we have to say there's a big debate within even people in UK whether they think the monarchy is outdated, whether it should be still be there. Like they consume an awful lot of money. Just their whole I don't know, the whole organization, if you want to call it that.
I probably won't necessarily get into that, but that was where, in a sense, a rabbit hole. As you provided the research, that took me off on a tangent to see on the periphery.
I don't want to get back into it, but the pepper sauce is still not that rabbit hole. I still don't say it. But if I can even go further, like I was saying that Queen Elizabeth shouldn't have been the queen, or their family wasn't expected to be the queen. There's probably these lesser royals. If you can even go back further, I found that during the 1500s, there was an Edward IV, and he turned out that he's supposed to be the illegitimate father of Richard, Duke of York. That time period, because it's a break in the line of
succession, or something like that,
or of bloodline. Bloodline is more accurate. Because obviously she'd be related to the queen, the queen at that time. Well, not obviously, but so the King Edward the fourth was, and this is from a documentary in 2004, and if you want to look it up yourself, it's called Britain's Real Monarch, and it's alleged, like I said, that that King Edward the Fourth was illegitimate because the king at the time, Richard, Duke of York, was absent on some campaign or something when he was conceived and when he was born.
Right.
So he couldn't. They theorized he could not be the be the father. So, and when you look at the male succession regime that they have, shouldn't be. And a guy in Australia is actually should be the king.
Right.
Now king.
We've got a news break. And you can share that with us. Others can weigh in if they want. But let's continue.
Yeah. When we get back, we'll see what we did during the
all right. Stay tuned.
Vocal.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The funeral for the late national hero, the Honorable Sybil McLaughlin, is underway at this hour. It was due to start at 1 o'clock at Elmsley Memorial Church. The country is marking a national day of mourning for Miss Sybil, who received full lying-in-state honors at the House of Parliament on Thursday. After today's funeral, there will be a hero's farewell held at Hero Square with a 21-gun salute by the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service. You can tune in to listen live on Radio Cayman's Breeze FM at 105.3. In international headlines, a new poll shows U.S. President Joe Biden's approval rating dipped to the lowest point of his presidency in May, with deepening pessimism emerging among members of his own Democratic Party. Only 39% of U.S. adults approve of Biden's performance as president, according to the poll from the Associated Press Nork Center for Public Research, dipping from already negative ratings a month earlier. Overall, only about 2 in 10 adults say the U.S. is heading in the right direction, or that the economy is good, both down from about 3 in 10 a month earlier. Stocks have been falling again on Wall Street today and are heading for another week of declines following a massive pullback 2 days ago. The S&P 500 fell 1.7% and is now down 20% from the record high it reached in January. If the index closes at this level or lower, it will have entered a bear market for the first time since early in the pandemic. The S&P 500, the basis for many index funds, is headed toward its 7th weekly decline in a row. The Dow Jones Industrial fell 1.4%, and the tech-heavy NASDAQ fell 2.4%. Bond yields also fell. Those are your headlines. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, I'm April Cummings.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab. Blood test, x-ray, and mammogram, all of that is MedLab. Affordable fees and friendly service, a full professional team. MedLab is always comfortable, MedLab is always clean. For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Call 949-7331 and ask about MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
Subway is serving up a special new sauce, bursting with flavor in every bite. The new Savory Collection is a tropical sweet and spicy sauce made with a combination of spices, habanero peppers, thyme, onion, black pepper, ginger, citrus juices, and molasses.
So good.
Wow.
Sensational.
Delicious.
Subway's Savory Collection pairs perfectly with our oven roasted chicken or steak sub. Savor the flavor. For a limited time, only at Subway. Subway. Eat fresh.
Busy, busy, busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences. We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross now at Vant Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vant Motors, Walkers Road. Due to infrastructure upgrades, customers on Woodland Drive and Walbridge Drive off Shamrock Road in Lower Valley will experience interruptions to their electrical service on Wednesday, May 25th between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. For more information on the outage, please contact CUC's customer service team at 949-5200 or email service@cuc.ky.
Hello, K-Man. Join us on Saturday, May 21st for the Progressives Family Fun Day. It will be a day full of fun for all the family. Lots of food, music, prizes, and surprises. The fun begins at 11 a.m. on the beach a half-mile east of the Frank Sound Junction. See our Facebook pages for transportation details.
How would you describe Siwa Sayin?
A language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM.
Okay, I like that definition. Now let's get back to the show.
Siwa Sayin.
Hey, good afternoon, welcome back, and thanks for joining us, and thanks to the Ray Banker for all that he's doing. Now, Ray, my good friend, we do have another caller.
Okay.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good afternoon. I heard Mickey there giving me the JA side of memories about the era.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm thinking back, I kind of wonder how the news got here. Well, it might have been heard by the few people who had radios over the BBC.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure. I believe that the Cuban wireless station had probably started, or actually the weather station is what it was. But they had Morse code communication, and it might have came in through that. But anyway, I recall it.
Where did the 30s? Was it built in the 30s? The weather station, the Cuban.
No, I think it was the early 50s, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, we were in school, and the news came down that the King George had passed away. I think it possibly was on a Friday. That's what my mind tells me anyway, because we would have normally got out early, that is half day. But this happened about 10 o'clock, 9:30 in the morning, and everybody was glad that we were getting it more earlier. You know? And there was a specific thing that happened to me on that day, but I won't go into that.
I think interested in that now.
Yeah, any comment? Intrigue?
No. But
okay, just whisper it to us. No one else can hear.
No, but you know, in the period between when King George died and the coronation, you know, it was I think there was a lot of preparation being put in celebrating the coronation, which
Yes.
I guess was throughout the whole Commonwealth and Cayman. Now, I can't speak to much about the other districts, but in West Bay, I would say that up until that time, there was probably the largest gathering that had happened in West Bay was the celebration of the coronation, and you know there were bonfires in every district.
Yeah.
That was the kind of the focus or the main one of the main elements in the celebration. In fact, in West Bay, the bonfire would have been located right, you know, where the dock is in West Bay. The
dock now.
You call it a main dock, and then there's another little dock, you know, 150 feet west of it or southwest of it, no, northwest, right in that area. And in fact, I recall, I think I even assisted a little bit in building this bonfire because, to me, my memory is that it stood probably at least 15 to 20 feet high. It was like a square thing built of sticks, various sticks, pretty sturdy, and a lot of stuff in the middle that would burn. And we were supposed to set these bonfires afire. I think they had a specific time, but you know, it was big celebrations on that night. In fact, if I remember, it was a bright moonlight night, and it took place. It took place right there where the dock is at. That was the main focus in West Bay of what was happening on that night. But I think there was also church services that was had during that period.
Right.
But,
if I could ask, if you have and thanks for sharing. This is why when I was saying to people, this happened, you know, either in our lifetimes or our parents or grandparents, so we can draw from that memory. This is the day of his passing that the news came that the bonfire was lit.
No.
Is that? I just want to make sure.
No. Her coronation.
Oh, the coronation.
No, her coronation.
The crowning of the queen.
Okay.
You know, if you listen, in fact, you know, it was referenced, I think, in last week's program of the king being sick for quite a while.
Yeah.
Probably very few people in Cayman even knew that he was sick. You know, before the news came in that he had passed away.
Right. Yeah.
And that was Wednesday, by the way. They went the 2nd of what did I have? Was it 2nd of February? Oh, hold on. No, 6th of February. 6th of February was a Wednesday. 52.
Okay,
but I'm wondering if maybe the delay, whether you heard it on didn't get here till a Friday, like what you were saying, or you don't think it would be that?
I wouldn't think it would be that.
That bad.
Would be that because no, there were a few radios around.
52, 52 wasn't so isolated.
Listen to the BBC, and no, it might not have been official because for it to become official back in those days, I think it had to be posted on the blackboard at the post office.
Or the court's office.
Well, in Georgetown, it's the court office, but in the various districts, there was no court office. So, but
and on the day of his passing, as it were there any, if you can recall, any things in particular? I mean, Ray's going to share with us some of the things that happened during the week of coronation, but on his day of his passing and maybe the years following, anything in particular that you recall happening on that day? Or the mood even?
Well, I think that the mood was very respectful. I think, you know, I was almost 15 years old at the time when this happened. But, you know, I suppose as far as my activity, if we got out of school early, I was probably
fishing
on the reef running seas or fishing, or out in a catboat, doing something on the water. But I mean, what I recall, it was, I think, very respectful. I don't know whether I could put it in mourning, but it was.
A certain level of deference and respect. Yeah.
And it wasn't was it? You said it was a surprise because he was sick for a while. You said you.
Well, no, I said. I mean.
You didn't think Cayman knew about it.
I had no knowledge of him being sick, and but I would believe that there were some people in Cayman that probably had, because that news probably would have been aired some on BBC, and like I said, there was a 53. Well, 53. There might have been, I guess, in each district might have had 10, 15 radios by that time. So somebody would have, and they were big helicopter. Well, what Zenith later called the transoceanic, but this was the earlier model helicopter radio that they could really pick up shortwave quite well back in those days. But, and there was one radio in the West Bay district that was tuned to the BBC just about all day long, whenever they had power, because those days it would have been battery power and car battery more or less, because dry cell had not come into being at that time. But the gentleman was he was sick, and he couldn't get out, but he religiously listened to the news from the BBC and actually told people about it. And he was, I guess you could say, the media, that is, as far as foreign news disseminator in the district. His name was Mr. Caleb.
What district he was again? West Bay. Okay.
And
I was just asking what district he was. I didn't hear, but Dwayne said West Bay.
District. Well, he was right down there in Henning Square.
Okay,
Mr. Phillip. Yeah. But this is, as you remind us, and this is why as we look at this celebration, why it's important, I think, as part of our own history, and having you relay, as a teenager, your recollection. Hopefully there are others who can share from their personal or what their parents shared. Anything, Mr. Loxley?
I'm sure if Captain Owen is listening, he may be able to recall some of the stuff, because I think he and I and our good friend Davis, we were all over that terrain that night.
But this is what makes history come to life, and why I always appreciate just listening to you and understanding where we are, so that it gives us a recorded history. Anything else, Mr. Loxley, you want to share, sir?
No, that's in relative to what your subject is, but it's important that the community have some knowledge of these various things. We are 100 years behind educating the community about our heritage and our culture and so forth.
Right. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks so much.
Thanks for that firsthand.
I won't share any other comments. We do have another caller.
Oh, okay.
Hey, good afternoon. Oh, okay. I was hoping that Miss Susan was telling me that was lunch. It's a Friday, but Ray,
Conch Day.
But
yes, he kind of was basically giving me firsthand thing of what I was gonna share. Because we do from the archive, and you can go on their website, and they actually have I think it's Miss Arthur and Pedley, I have to give credit to, for her research on this. But celebrations of the coronation, basically it was a whole week of celebrations here. Looks like they used that as an excuse to have some good celebrations. So from like the 1st of June to the 5th in 1953, like 2 weeks before coronation week, there were baby shows, beauty competitions held in each district, Grand Cayman. The winner, runner-up of each baby show, as well as their mothers, were given free transport to Georgetown to enter the All-Island Baby Competition, which was held in Georgetown Town Hall on Wednesday, the 3rd of June. And similarly, the beauty competition was providing free transport to Georgetown on that day, and they entered the All-Island Beauty Contest held at the dance in Georgetown. Cash prizes were awarded to the overall winners and runner-up. So in each district in Grand Cayman, the last caller just shared some of the things that would happen in West Bay. But Coronation Week, I say again, 1st of June to the 5th was celebrated the following things in common. Monday, 1st of June, presentation of coronation flags and souvenirs to school children. 2nd of June, the United coronation service at churches, Presbyterian and Grand Cayman Baptist in the Sister Island. On Tuesday, 2nd of June again, 8 p.m., fireworks display followed by lighting of bonfires. Didn't realize that they were doing fireworks display all the way then, 53. On the Thursday, the 5th of June, dances at town halls. These are all the things in common in each districts. And then they had treats, meals for the aged, and different dates for that. Additionally, there were several special events planned for each of the various districts. And again, Mr. Loxley said about the bonfire. I wanted to ask him how common that was. Like, if anything happened, was a bonfire like the thing to, the go-to thing that had every time. But they also, in West Bay, they had a display of pictures and scenes of the royal family from the time of Queen Victoria up to the Queen Elizabeth II for the public to view from Tuesday to Friday at the Co-op Hall. Now,
you remember what that was?
No.
The Cop Hall? Some people say...
Cop Hall is what they call that?
Yeah.
Is that right in the four-way?
Yeah.
Okay. The Co-op Hall, the Cop Hall.
Yeah, I mean, so the Co-op was...
That had come up another...
Yeah. It's interesting what is seen and what is said, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Co-op Hall, Cop Hall. Okay. They also hosted a morning cricket match on Monday, June 1st in West Bay. So Bodden Town now, they had a bicycle parade and a donkey race. All right. Tells you how many donkeys they had. I assume people were riding the donkeys. Wonder why they didn't have a horse race. Wasn't enough horses. Okay. So Northside now, they held a church service in the town hall. Now, town hall in Northside? Yeah, maybe someone from Northside will tell us that. Town hall in 53. Followed by a parade of scouts and gildry. Drill displayed by the company and a parade of trucks and school children singing national songs. Okay. East End now. They had a beach party following the fireworks and bonfire hosted by the Scouts and Gildry. Scouts and Gildry seemed like to be the hot thing. Savannah, they had a bonfire also on Tuesday. Was held at Spots Beach, and a dance on Wednesday at the school room. Wow. Okay. Georgetown now. On the Tuesday, there was a parade of uniform groups outside the court's office. I think that's us. Museum, where the museum held, a museum building. Before the service at Elmsley Church. Following the service, there was a cricket match at Padna Ground, which is right here by us, by Cricket Square now. There was a parade of decorated motor cars on Wednesday morning, 3rd of June. This is still in Georgetown now. And now the aquatics, this is a thing that I kind of want to get into. The aquatics sports event at Hogstye Bay took place on Thursday afternoon, 4th of June. There was an open of boys and men's of Georgetown, as well as the outer districts in swimming races for boys and men aged 12 to 20, tub races. I guess that's the bath band thing. Diving races, which I think it's you dive under.
So far you can go with it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've actually heard something where somebody actually died with that, one of those. So it's were kind of dangerous. Dive board stunts, I guess that's diving. A canoe rowing race for girls. A boys and men's greaser pole competition. I'm waiting for Dwayne to say something. Also was held. Okay. First, second, and third prizes were given for each event. All right. So now, sister islands, just so you know, we don't leave you all out. I know we got a big listening base over there, too. So, Kimmerbach and Little Cayman celebrated over 4 days from Monday 1st to Thursday, the 4th of June. Monday the 1st of June, they presented the coronation flags, pens, and pencils to school children. We did get pens and pencils over here, it looked like. Okay. Tuesday, 2nd of June, morning coronation services were held at both islands on 10 a.m. Evening activities, Little Cayman. Residents of the village enjoyed a free-for-all picnic feast plus ring games prior to the fireworks display and bonfire. Again, bonfire, huh? Kimmerbach, fireworks, and again, bonfire. Cotton Tree Bay Beach. Don't know which one that is. Cotton Tree Bay Beach. Dance held at Hanson Theatre. That was the 2nd of June. So 3rd of June now. An island-wide sports day for young and old was held on both islands. What kind of population was the Little Cayman then? 53. Anyway, in addition to the usual land-based races popular then, Little Cayman added a swimming, diving, and boat races. Wow, the population on Little Cayman must have been big then. The evening wrapped up with more fireworks on both islands. This display was held at the warehouse grounds on the Brac with a dance at the Creek Government Schoolhouse. So that's still on the Brac now, or Sis Islands. The 4th of June, early morning gift parcels of beef and
Fresh
other.
beef.
Yep, all the eatables were distributed to the poor and aged. Kimmerbach held an aquatic sports day that morning, including a catboat race, again, catboats, which was held opposite the government wharf at the creek. A greaser pole competition and donkey race was also suggested, so I'm not sure if that happened. All in all, it was a joyous week of celebrations for patriotic Caymanians whose ancestors, in spite of living in the island time forgot, left a legacy of how to celebrate such events from earlier coronation celebrations for King George V in 1911 and King George VI, 1937. Okay, so that's a rundown of things that were held on all of the islands, Grand Cayman and the sister islands. Yeah. So again, that was from the archive. If you want to learn more, you can go on that archive website and you can find that. And I should have said before, some of the major things that will happen in Cayman as the king had passed away in 1952. There was just opened up. The Colonial Development Corporation opened up a turtle cannery in the North Sound, and it had a picture on it. This is also from the archive website. It was located where Caribbean Utilities is today. And the goal was to create an assured market for turtle, and it hoped that when the factory was in full operation, a more remunerative one, I don't know what we call it, messed that up. But anyway, production of turtle soup was slated for April 52. Both the construction and operation of the factory provided useful employment when satisfactory markets arrangement were concluded.
And they were expecting a significant export market to the U.S., right? That's what they were hoping in this cannery.
Yeah. And we had some people that remembered, they moved to Cayman, Grand Cayman from the sister islands just so that they could, moved to Georgetown from Northside just to work on the thing, on the cannery thing. But to get back to Queen Elizabeth now, some of the historic events during her reign, I didn't realize it was that recent, but 1953, the Commonwealth was established. I thought it was before that. Besides being the queen, she's also queen for many countries, still Canada, Jamaica, New Zealand, Australia, Bahamas, and us to Grand Cayman Islands. And Barbados, I think last year broke... What
the Republic.
Yeah. So I still don't know what the Commonwealth is supposed to mean.
Okay.
Okay, you're saying that for again. So decolonization happened in the 60s and 70s. Beatlemania happened during her reign. European Union, 1973 happened. World Wide Web, 1989. Didn't realize that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Visit to the Republic of Ireland, 2011. Diamond Jubilee was in 2012. Do you want to take the call? Should we finish off with that?
Well,
we got that. I think that'll be
new
the last.
guest, right? So we want to abbreviated version. You got more stuff to share as we transition.
She visited Cayman. I guess that's important for us. She visited Cayman in 1983, and just coincidentally, 1982 was the Falklands War, where Argentina had invaded basically the Falklands. And we raised, I think, was it about $250,000 locally?
500,000.
Was it 500,000?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Mm-hmm. Wow. And then coincidentally, after that, in 1983 was her first visit to Cayman.
Nah, that's no coincidence.
No. Just coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
And 94 was her second visit. But so that's us. So while she was in reign, let's see what else. Let's see if we breeze through this. 56, France invaded Egypt, Suez Canal crisis. 57, she selects Harold Macmillan as a prime minister. In 1960, her sister, Princess Margaret, marries Tony Armstrong Jones, and then she gives birth. Queen Elizabeth gives birth to her third child, Prince Andrew, that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And 69, her son Charles is announced as official heir to the throne and named Prince of Wales. See that? In 76, she opened the Summer Olympics in Montreal, Canada. In 1977, she celebrates her Silver Jubilee on the 25th anniversary of the Queen. 79, Margaret Thatcher becomes the first Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. 81, Prince Charles married Lady Diana, one of the most popular weddings in history. Marriage didn't go that way, though. And again, I mentioned the Falklands War and 93 our visit. 91, she addresses the joint meeting of the United States Congress following the coalition victory in the Gulf War. I didn't remember that one.
Mm-hmm.
In 92, she said this was a year, she called it her Annus Horribilis. I think that's Latin for horrible year. During 92, Prince Charles separated from Lady Diana. Prince Anne divorced her husband. Prince Andrew separated from his wife. And Windsor Castle caught fire and suffered extensive damage. So that's why she, in a speech, called it that, Annus Horribilis. 92. And again, 94, she visited Cayman. So in 97, Princess Di was killed in a plane car crash. And 2002, the Queen's mother passes at 101. And her sister, Princess Margaret, dies at age 71. The same year, Queen Elizabeth II celebrated her Golden Jubilee, marking her 50 years as Queen of the United Kingdom. In 2011, her grandson, Prince William, second in line for the throne, gets married to Catherine Middleton. I didn't realize it was that long ago, 2011. Anyway, 2012, she celebrated her Diamond Jubilee of 60 years as a monarch. And in 2015, she becomes the longest reigning British. 2015, longest reigning British monarchs, surpassing her great grandmother, Queen Victoria. She had who had reigned for 63 years and 7 months. In 2017, she celebrated her 65th year as queen in a sapphire jubilee. She was the first, obviously, first one to celebrate that. First monarch to celebrate that. And some of the other interesting facts about Queen Elizabeth II. One of her favorite hobbies, besides horse racing and Yorkie dogs, is photography. Didn't know that. Her nickname is Lilibeth. It comes from her own pronunciation of Elizabeth when she was a child. Let's see what else. She speaks fluid French.
Fluent.
Huh?
Fluent.
You should know. That's fluid there, but I would think. Yeah, I know fluid. I know fluent French. Well, I knew the term fluent French. No, but it said fluid.
I know. I just okay. All right. Listen. Thank you.
Tell him taking a break. Could be breaking down.
All right, but
she's allowed to drive in the UK without a license, by the way.
Yeah, man. And she was born April 11th.
It says fluid.
Yeah, I know.
I know fluent. I looked at that too myself.
Okay.
I think she's not fluent in French. She's just fluid with it. She's good at it.
Okay. You're right.
Anybody, come on, try to help me with this. That's like the fluid in that pepper sauce.
All right, so Ray, thank you for this, right? And ensuring that we are not only always observant and respectful, but thank you very much for this. And given that people question as we close out today's abbreviated version, although she's born April 11th, well, why did we celebrate?
Oh yeah, that was the other one
in June,
and it's just basically because of the English weather. The weather is better.
It's more predictable in June to be nicer than it is in April, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
so it makes people, but with doing that, it makes sailors and soldiers feel away at our thing from the heat.
There you go. And for those who want more, the government is celebrating the Platinum Jubilee. A lot of wonderful activities are being planned across the country, as is across the Commonwealth. Ray, thanks very much again, man. Always appreciate you. You're welcome to stay on for the next segment. We're going to have from DCFS.
I can see if I can get some fluids after this show.
I've heard this. So join us after the break. Stay tuned.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Ask our professional team about the benefits of cutting-edge technology with MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
Join us on June 8th for the annual RF Economic Outlook Conference, where speakers include Dex Torok, executive at Facebook and Google, John Cidilettis, geopolitical consultant to the U.S. Department of State, Keith Herman, serial tech entrepreneur and blockchain expert, and global innovation strategist Sean Kanungo. Registration is now open. Find out more at rfeoc.com.
JN Money touchdown. Send the money now. Reach wow. You say you need some money. JN Money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use your money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Stay clean, stay safe, hey man. Reflections sells gallons of sanitizer for only $25. Buy 2 clip-on sanitizers for just $5. Reflections has the best KN95 masks or reusable cloth masks, and you can get 2 for only $5. Blue surgical masks and face shields are available for children and adults, as well as 10 and 50 packs of black surgical masks. Volume discounts available at Reflections. Jose's Rubus, Reflections Hemp and Tobacco, all 5 Liquor for Less locations, and Food for Less open 24 hours every day. Don't miss the Liquor for Less incredible priced better markdown. Hundreds of fine from $2.99. Cases of ice cold below wholesale prices. Save $10 off liters of absolute exclusively at Liquor for Less. Prices so low we can't say them on the radio.
Hello, Cayman. Join us on Saturday, May 21st for the Progressives Family Fun Day. It will be a day full of fun for all the family. Lots of food, music, prizes, and surprises. The fun begins at 11 a.m. on the beach a half-mile east of the Frank Sound Junction. See our Facebook pages for transportation details.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities, built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials, are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
Join us in celebration of Her Majesty the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. The Cayman Islands is excited to be hosting a variety of free, family-friendly activities throughout the community you won't want to miss, such as the Queen's Jubilee Family Afternoon Tea Party at the National Gallery on May 21st at 1 p.m. So many activities and something for everyone. For more information on the upcoming Queen's Platinum Jubilee events, visit www.gov.ky/Jubilee.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome, Mike, and thanks very much for joining us. And now, as we get a chance to welcome to our studio from the Family Resource Center discussion, well, we'll let them help us to facilitate it. But to talk about almost something that sounds like a misnomer, teen pregnancy. And we have in the studio Miss Amory Diaz, and online Miss Lovella Anderson. But first, with you, Miss Amory. Today's discussion was challenging in many respects, But it's important that we have these conversations. So as we talk about it, well, first off, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. And hi, Miss Lavella.
Hey, afternoon, Ms. Lavella. How are you?
Hello, everyone.
All right. And thanks for joining us. And I'm glad that we can leverage your technology in order to have you and your colleague share with our listeners what is truly a very sobering and a very important topic. But first, Ms. Amri, teen pregnancy. Well, you set the stage, and maybe I'll see if I'm courageous to ask questions.
Sure, absolutely. And so I'm here today as a part of Family Resource Center. May represents our Teen Pregnancy Prevention Month. And of course, it's not something that should be exclusively spoken about and discussed in just May. This is something that we need to be thinking about all the time. And when I say that, I'm specifically talking to parents, right? Families. We, as parents, have the largest margin of influence in our children's lives. And I think, obviously, yes, talking about things like sex and puberty and development and relationships, all of these things can sound kind of overwhelming. And, well, where do I start? And is my child too young? What do they even know? And so these sort of questions that we're asking ourselves, we can actually turn and open that conversation and that dialogue with our children and find out what they do know. Because a lot of times, especially, children quite young, we would be surprised what they're talking about with their peers at school, what they're hearing through media, things like that. And not to scare parents, but just to raise that awareness. Hey, find out what your kiddos think they know about things. And that could be, just saying, what have you heard? What do you guys talk about at school? And so it's important to have an open, caring, loving relationship with our children, because if they think, oh, well, mommy, daddy, they're going to overreact. They're going to they're going to hit me. They're going to yell at me. That sort of fear is going to be there. So they're less likely to open up to us, to share with us. So that honestly is step one, making sure that we're not overreacting, but we're being careful, we're being responsive to their important questions and leading them along the way to make healthy choices to gear them up for adulthood, for being independent, right? So we speak a lot about these gradual conversations we need to have with our children. So of course, when they're really little, we're not talking about sex, but we're talking about something very related, which is making sure that they know the names of all their body parts. So just as they know this is my arm and this is my leg, they need to know the correct words: vagina, penis. Get comfortable saying these things.
As parents as well.
As parents, because we think, well, this is my little baby, this is my little boy. No, they need to know, right? And it's a way to protect them. Think about it as safeguarding your child as well. And they need to know what's safe and unsafe touch. Children, they're so innocent, they might not know at 4 years old that little Jimmy shouldn't have touched me on my bunkie, mommy. They wouldn't know to say that. So having that conversation of, mommy or daddy, we might clean you, we might touch you there, but no one else should be touching you there, and you should be coming to mommy or daddy to let us know what's going on, right? And then as they're getting older, we're, laddering that conversation and now talking about things like preparing them for puberty, right? Where hair is going to come, their voices are going to change if they're boys, their bodies are going to start to change. And so they need to have that awareness and that understanding and be supported in that journey. And then again, they're getting older. They're becoming preteens and teenagers. They're getting interested in relationships. And are we talking about consent? What's okay and not okay to do? And very important, I think, and this isn't a Caymanian thing, this isn't this is a global thing. I think we put a lot of pressure on our girls, and the expectation is they have to make the correct choices, but our boys have to be taught responsibility and self-worth, and, their futures are changed by pregnancy and having babies as well, right? So it's very important to ensure that this isn't just a conversation and a support for your girls. This is absolutely for your boys as well.
Indeed. Well, this is where I'm hoping, as we have this discussion, and given maybe where we are in history, but perhaps the time of year. Summer is coming up. Children are leaving school, perhaps into the workplace, and they may feel they're at a particular age. They may continue their education. Some may be moving from a junior school to big school, as it were, and in that transitional sort of biological approach and instructive time over the summer. But Ms. Novella, from your perspective, welcome and share with us as you wish.
Yes, sir. It's since I've been working in the schools, working with the younger children, it's quite evident that kids, they are talking about, sexual relationship with each other. Kids are talking boyfriend and girlfriend. Oh, me and my boyfriend are doing this. Me and my girlfriend are doing this. And I'm not talking about kids who are 16, 17. I'm talking about really young kids in grades 4 and 5 who may have been exposed to, sexual behaviors at home, and they're acting out at school, which can lead to a lot of trouble, which then leads to, them becoming pregnant at a young age, which is something that we do want to avoid.
Mm-hmm. And I think something that maybe let me then ask. Some of us believe that this education is for the schools. Some of us believe, no, that's the education for the home. Your thoughts, Ms. Henry?
I think the thing is now, I think a lot of pressure has been put on education to actually remove it from the schools, unfortunately. Unfortunately. And so we're fortunate enough to be partnering with the government schools. Lavella, myself, and our other colleagues, we're going to be going in starting at the end of this month, specifically to Sir John A. Cumber, to Georgetown Primary, and to Joanna Clark Primary School. I always want to say Savannah.
With great respect, I'm with you as well.
But it's important, right? They're named these names, and so giving the respect. So we're going into those schools, and it's great. We're going to be doing a 6-week program. We're teaching the year 6 students, or those that will have at least, about these things, about self-worth and the sense of responsibility, and raising their awareness about things that, they aren't potentially hearing about at school, and maybe not at home either. But I would say, as a parent, we have that duty to help them with their homework, right? That's part of their academics. We have that duty to ensure they're doing well in school. That's not just the schools. That's not just the teacher's kind of responsibility. It's ours as well. And similarly with anything else that has to do with our child, I would say big responsibility on our shoulders, right?
And I think oftentimes, we talk, if we make the parallel between some of us who maybe 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, what may have transpired in our adolescence to what the teenager and adolescent is experiencing now. We may have heard from older children, heard it didn't quite hear what they were said. What was said was probably more of a myth and inaccurate. Or people are hearing it now from social media, from their friends. And to what extent are we able to say, well, okay, that's not quite exactly what it is, or yes, it is, but you need to also know this other part as well. And I think back to the early attempts when I was in school, that was health education. I knew there was a question that someone wanted to ask because, you boys playing football, the older boys saying things, and having the courage to ask that question, and thankfully the teacher responded in a way that was instructive, but it was uncomfortable. Yet it was a simple question. But when you don't know, you don't know. So, Ms. Lavelle, from that perspective, as parents, sometimes we ourselves, no matter how much education we have, no matter how responsible the jobs or how respectable or respectful we are, when it's just talking to our children, wow, we are, almost like monks. We don't say anything and we don't know what to say and we're embarrassed. How do we speak?
It's quite funny, but I was lucky enough to grow up with a mom who, exposed me to body parts. She exposed me to female and male relationships. She exposed me to, even though it was a different time, LGBTQ relationships and stuff. And it wasn't a difficult conversation for her to have, because we were 1 year old. When you're bathing your child, you're like, okay, mommy's gonna wash your vagina now. Mommy's gonna wash your penis now. Okay, mommy's gonna turn over you to your butt and wipe your butt. Simple things like that to introduce your children to those words, to make it not as uncomfortable, so that when the time does come around for you to say to your child, okay, when a man and a female get together, that's how babies are created, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And here's a safe way in which you can participate in sexual activities, and a safe way to have those kind of difficult topics with, your partner, or if you're ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a sense of easing it into the child from they're younger, so that when they do become older, it's not something that is so hard or difficult to talk about.
Mm-hmm. The idea of being proactive or responsive, we hear that a lot in relation to many things. Ms. Anne-Marie, in this context,
I think that's why we're here today, right? To ensure that parents, if they haven't been proactive and, their kid's already a teenager and they're thinking, gosh, I didn't even talk about these things, that's okay. You can now.
It's never too late, though.
Right. And especially if you do have that open, loving relationship with your child, you can say things like, what are they saying at school about these sort of things? Because a lot of times children are just making things up, right? Getting creative and trying to be funny and entertain their friends, right? And so a lot of that is then misinformation. But, children are more on the gullible side, more on the naive side, so they might actually take it at face value and think, oh, yeah, this must be true,
Especially if it's said by someone that for somehow they believe would know or should know. That's the big boy, he should know, or that was uncle or whatever.
Right. And I think parents too, if you feel, well, I'm the mom, how do I have this conversation with my son, that opposite gender? Well, if there's a coach, if there's a pastor, if there's an uncle, if there's an auntie, it doesn't necessarily have to be exactly you. And if you feel that they might receive something better coming from another trusted adult, and again, stressing trusted, right? Trusted by you, then why not,
Okay, trusted is important, and I think, I always say trust but verify. But also, should we also make it the example if we were in the financial services world, know your client, do your due diligence and the like. Should we also make sure that not only there's a trusted adult, but the person who is giving information, whether it's pastor or coach, that they actually can deliver that information that is accurate and in a way that is understood. There are many of us. We struggle, even though we may be trusted, or we may actually have it, but we still don't present it.
Right. And I think that's where we come in, the Family Resource Center, we are going to give information that's research-based, that's evidence-based. So you can reach out to us at 949-0006 or email us. I know I'm ahead of the game, at frc@gov.ky. If you do have those burning questions and you think, well, if I say this, is this okay? We're very happy to support you because this is such an important topic. And we do have virtual information on our website and things like that. What I do recommend, if you still feel a little uncomfortable even reaching out to us, is Google it, but use research that's coming from doctors. Make sure it's not just some lady down the road that's writing these things.
Know your source.
Right. Know the sources. Make sure they're reputable. And in line with your unique family values.
Well, let me then ask each of you somewhat. We as you shared, Ms. Armory, the idea that the children hearing each other and they make jokes. Some of us as adults, that's how we try to cope with the situation, mask it. We present it with a little bit of lightheartedness. For the parent trying to talk to the child and that approach.
How do you start that, right? Let's just sit down and stare at one another. No, that's going to be uncomfortable for everybody, right? So, I think bringing humor into most conversations makes it less awkward no matter what it is, right? It makes boring meetings a lot more fun. It makes light of things. You can start by, when you're driving in the car, and there's that. It lowers intimidation for our child too, because they don't have to necessarily look right at us, and they can look out the window and process what we're saying. And we don't necessarily have to then demand a response back, you know, where we can let things sit a little bit. I mean, we can even be putting up the dishes and have a chat. We don't have to sit down and stare at one another. It can be very much in the moment. Yeah. You know, maybe you've heard them say something and you say, oh, it's interesting you say that. Or they're watching a TV show and you notice something and you think, what do you think about that? You know, really getting their perspective, whatever it might be, whatever, you know, it might be lacking information. But it's useful for us to know what do they know, where they're at, and fill in any kind of gaps and missing pieces there.
Well, when we come back from our news break, we invite you to share with us, and hopefully as we listen, we may not, as a public, leave feeling as ill-informed or as uncomfortable. Some of us really can benefit from just a little bit more instruction. And maybe this discussion isn't with our child, but it might be with our grandchild, or it may be with that extended member of the family for whom we now have that child in our care for whatever reason, for however long. So Miss Anne-Marie Diaz, and on the phone, Miss Lavella Anderson will rejoin us right after the break. Please stay tuned.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, I'm April Cummings. A bit of disappointing news from His Excellency Governor Martin Roper from London, as he announced, in spite of a, quote, very strong application, Georgetown was not successful in achieving city status. Mr. Roper says an incredible amount of work by the Cayman Islands government went into the application, and we were very close. However, there were a considerable number of applications, 38 bids in all. He adds it was the first time overseas territories and crown dependencies were eligible to bid, and only one of each was chosen. Stanley in the Falkland Islands has been successful in the year that also marks the 40th anniversary of the Falklands War. In international headlines, scientists who have monitored numerous outbreaks of monkeypox in Africa say they are baffled by the disease's recent spread in Europe and North America. Causes of the smallpox-related disease have previously been seen only among people with links to Central and West Africa. But in the past week, Britain, Spain, Portugal, Italy, U.S., Sweden, and Canada all reported infections, mostly in young men who hadn't previously traveled to Africa. France, Germany, Belgium, and Australia confirmed their first cases today. The West moved to pour billions more aid into Ukraine today as Russia shifted forces freed up by the imminent fall of the pulverized port city of Mariupol, and fighting raged in the city's industrial heartland in the east. Ukraine says its troops repelled a Russian attack in the grinding back-and-forth battle for the Donbass, the mostly Russian-speaking expanse of coal mines and factories that the Kremlin is bent on capturing. Those are your headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom. I'm April Cummings.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Join us on June 8th for the annual RF Economic Outlook Conference, where speakers include Dex Torok, executive at Facebook and Google, John Cidilettis, geopolitical consultant to the U.S. Department of State, Keith Herman, serial tech entrepreneur and blockchain expert, and global innovation strategist Sean Kanungo. Registration is now open. Find out more at rfeoc.com.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Ask our professional team about the benefits of cutting-edge technology with MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
If you care about your car's performance and fuel economy, you must fill up at Jose's Escape with the new Pyramid 93. Experts know that the higher the octane rating, the better your engine will perform. Pure 93 is the highest octane fuel available in Cayman. Protect your car against pre-ignition and engine knocks. Top up your tank now with Pure 93 at Jose's Rubis and enter to win an awesome track bike. But there's more. Jose's offers 2 lateral flow test kits for only $10. The best KN95 masks, 2 for $5. And 10 stylish black surgical masks are only $5. Share the love. Purchase Reflections gift certificates and enter to win the amazing Trek bike. Did you know that ValueMed Pharmacy has a free online prescription service? Managing your health and medical requirements has never been easier with ValueMed. Simply visit value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com and click the Refill Prescriptions tab on our website. Fill in the information for new prescriptions or refills and choose your preferred pickup location. ValueMed on Walkers Road or Boddentown. Then bring in your original prescription from your doctor when picking up. There's no need to stand in line and wait for your prescription. Save time and pick up prescriptions at your convenience by visiting value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com. Labor Force Survey is currently being conducted by the Economics and Statistics Office. The Labor Force Survey collects data on employed and unemployed persons. Trained interviewers with ESO ID cards will visit randomly selected households in all districts. The interviewers will exercise appropriate COVID-19 protocols using personal protective equipment. The interviews are confidential in accordance with the statistics law. No individual data will be published or disclosed. Survey data are exempt from freedom of information. For more details, please call the ESO on 516-3329.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. And thanks for joining us too. And thanks to the great work over at the Family Resource Center. And today in the studio is Amir Diaz, her colleague, Ms. Lavette Anderson on the phone. And as we talk about, teen pregnancy, well, how should we officially turn the discussion? Teenage pregnancy prevention, perhaps?
Yes.
Teen pregnancy awareness?
But both, yeah.
Awareness and prevention?
Awareness and prevention. Let's do that.
Okay, no, I know the topic, and I know it's uncomfortable because even as parents, perhaps fathers to daughters, right? Your daughter is going to be fitted for her graduation, and maybe for whatever reason, you're the person taking her for the fitting, all right? And the seamstress is there. I'm sure this still happens elsewhere, and got to take it in, and she may say, "Oh, she's busted or she's whatever." As a father, you may go, "Geez, that's my little girl," but even to that. Are you uncomfortable with that? And if you are, well, how are you going to talk? About things. And where is that relationship later on, where she's married now, and you're right there giving her away? I mean, these discussions are informative, though, and I say that to appreciate that. Easier said than done, right?
Yes, it is.
But let's have this discussion because it's important, right?
Yeah, and I think. As parents, and I'm a parent as well, I completely understand where parents are coming from. I think it's accepting the uncomfortability, but understanding the value and the importance of these conversations in order to keep our children safe, to support them in making healthy choices, and preparing them for relationships and that are healthy, that are on the terms of our children, that they know how to set boundaries, that they're protecting themselves, right?
So maybe I can ask of each of you, I wrote down societal norms. We understand, as I shared earlier, that some of us believe, well, that's a discussion for home. Some say, no, that's for schools. And as you shared, there are some places, perhaps even in the Cayman context, where no, that's not in schools at all. That's
right.
So they're not getting it from anywhere that we would think is trusted, that is timely, and so not at home, not at school. What then happens? So those societal norms. Acts of two. Is it, as we probably would allege and maybe agree, that it's all the responsibility of the lady, nothing at all on the boy. And even if there is a consensual relationship, even at 16, 17, 18, at or above the age of consent, but it's the young lady. And what role, if any, is the young man? And how is it impacting both their lives? But then on top of that, and perhaps some would say even more inflammatory, what if the male counterpart is 10, 15, 20 years older than the lady, whether she's consenting age or not? Is there a society looking at that and seeing that maybe that needs to be revisited? Your thoughts on that last part first, Ms. Armory?
Well, the last part. I was going to start at the beginning.
Start with the easy part. Go ahead.
Well, I wanted to go back to what you mentioned about if they're not hearing it from parents, they're not hearing it from teachers or informed and trusted adults. Where are they getting it from? Right. And so we did a recent survey with about 30 young people, and it was alarming to see that predominantly they're hearing about it from their peers and from media, right, and social media. And I don't know what accounts these are. It'd be interesting to know if they're trusted social media accounts or if it's kind of rubbishy stuff. What's going on there?
CNN and like this guy.
Susan's like, uh-oh. But yeah, the sources are typically not reputable. I think we can assume that, right? And going to your second piece about it being the female, all up to the young lady to make decisions, we need to ensure, that we're teaching our young men, our young boys to make choices that, yes, you can be aware of, your urges, your hormones are raging. We get that. But how do you practice self-control and responsibility for yourself and just for your fellow person? Never mind, this is a young lady. Having respect for that other lady as a person, right?
Right.
And then, touching on the tougher topic about older men maybe being with younger ladies, absolutely. I think that speaks to what those men maybe had growing up, and so there's definitely a lack of responsibility on their end that's being practiced. And unfortunately, our young ladies are susceptible and vulnerable. And so absolutely we need to prepare young ladies and understand the concerns that are out there for them so that they are prepared, making good choices.
Indeed. Ms. Lavelle, only if you wish to weigh in on either of those, is up to you, Mom.
So I totally agree with the responsibility being on both the male and female counterpart. I think that they should both be in agreement that, okay, the female is ready to, engage in any type of sexual activity, whether that be just to have a kiss, because that is a sexual activity as well. If she is ready to do that, if he is ready to do that, it's never to be something that either one of them feels forced to do or coerced to do, whether by friends or social media or sometimes family members. In relation to, the older-younger relationship, I think it's important that we do protect our young, vulnerable girls who, may not have that father figure in their life to show them how, they should be treated by a male, how they should be treated by anyone outside of family. Just making them feel as secure as possible around a male figure.
And I'm very much appreciate you sharing that with us. And as I look at one of the messages coming in, and we do have in the studio, if you're joining us, or Ms. Amory Diaz and her colleague Ms. Lavella. Right? I better keep making sure I put the A on it. Sorry about Ms. Anderson, Ms. Lavella Anderson. And in speaking to societal norms, again, we talk about the responsibility mainly on the young female. But I wonder, as we reference the older male and the younger female, what is your view? Is it the same or is it very much different if it's a younger male and an older female? How would we see that relationship? And I use that word carefully.
Right.
Is that view the same
Right. No, yeah, I mean, I'm sure, how we view gender, it differs, vastly amongst us, and generation to generation, of course. And I think there is the greater concern with the older male, because there is the risk, of course, of rape and of that young lady being violated. And I think that is a reality, right?
Right. I had 2 questions, as I was just want to make sure that I read it correctly. And one had to do with the age of consent. I'll say what I think it is in Cayman, 16. It's both for female and male. That's the legal age of sexual consent.
Unless there's been any changes,
right.
As far as I know. Yeah.
That's what we know. And the question was asking, well, given that is the age, should it be increased? And the person isn't suggesting, as I read it over, that it's 17 or 18 or that 16 is okay. The person did write to say, well, it's good that it's been raised recently from 14. But is 16, an age that we should rethink as the legal age? They point out, as we would know, 17 to drive a license, 18 to vote.
Right.
Different ages for different things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But is 16, you're still in school. Legal school age is 17, I think, until there's mandatory. So should the legal age of consent be? Now, you don't have to weigh in if you don't wish, but it's a question. But you're more than welcome to it if you so choose.
Right, yeah. I mean, those sort of decisions aren't up to us, of course.
Right.
There's lawmakers involved, but I think there is already, that's already been heavily researched, and there's reasons that that's the age of consent. But I agree with you. Yeah, how are we, waiting to get our licenses and things like that, and drink and all of that at 18 and so forth? When, on a personal level, I would absolutely agree. Yeah.
Again, Ms. Lavelle, only if you want to add anything to that, whether you comment your personal view, that's up to you, ma'am.
I agree with Anne-Marie. It's not really up to us. It's up to the lawmakers to decide, rather whether if the age of consent should be changed or if it should stay the same. Personally, I believe it's there to protect, our young ladies and protect our young men. But I don't know.
Yeah.
How is it that, you can drink and drive and vote at one age, and then the other age is like, you can have sex, but you can't vote. Sorry, you're too young.
Yeah, I mean, this is where I think again, the society needs to look at what it values, its norms, mores, and the like. The same message asks the question when we talk about rape, and just 2 salient points. Why is it that we use different words in indecent assault, sexual assault, this and that, and rape? When I won't go into the legal thing, but what are we looking at? And then second to that is also asking, well, is rape only seen as towards and against the female, or can it also be against the male? And
well, for me, I wouldn't feel comfortable answering these questions.
Right.
I think they're for, your lawmakers or those law enforcers. They probably are the better ones to speak about these things and give the correct information.